How's everyone doing? Today I'll be reviewing 2012's Compliance, written and directed by Craig Zobel, and this is based on true events, which really just shocked me. I'd never heard of any of this before, and it just blew me away, honestly, that this could actually happen. And if you've seen Compliance, definitely let me know what you think of it. Basically, it takes place at a fast food restaurant on a busy Friday night, and the manager gets a call from someone on the other line who's claiming to be a police officer, saying that one of their employees stole something from a customer, that this young girl named Becky, a 19-year-old blonde-haired girl, he describes her, says the name and everything, and she says okay, and they bring her back in the back office for questioning, and the police officer says she reached over the counter and stole some money out of the person's purse, and you have to find the money. That the police officer's busy right now. He's actually investigating her brother, Becky's brother. They're at their house and they're looking for drugs and stuff like that. So can you be a good citizen and help me out and look for this money, ask her to take out all the stuff out of her pockets, look through her purse, all this kind of stuff. And basically Sandra, the manager of the fast food restaurant, is going along with it. She's saying okay, I want to help out, and basically it just turns way crazy and gets really dark and just spirals out of control. In the trailer you see the police officer saying you're going to have to strip search her and stuff like that, so it gets kind of dark. This may not be for everybody because it is very psychologically disturbing, and it just really blows my mind that this happened. I can understand some people going along with it as it goes on, because some of it's kind of like basic stuff, look through her stuff and all that, but there comes a point where you just have to say, come on, a police officer wouldn't really ask somebody to do this. Nobody would ask somebody to strip search somebody. Nobody would ask somebody to spank their bare ass or all kinds of just do naked jumping jacks, all kinds of just crazy stuff. It's just blows my mind that people are so gullible. I understand that there's all kinds of psychological experiments done that people want to obey authority and will do what authority figures say no matter what, and just go along with it, and how easy people can be brainwashed and manipulated. And it's just really surprising that the stuff was based on true events. It was like almost verbatim from what I read online anyways. The girl ended up suing the restaurant chain. Good for her. I'm not really big for people doing frivolous lawsuits, but this one deserves it. It was a prank call of somebody pretending to be a police officer, impersonating a police officer. That person is a sociopath, but this person on this prank call that he was getting off on, is some kind of game for him. This person ruined several people's lives. People went to jail because of this. It's craziness. And Sandra actually had to have other people come in because she had to go to the restaurant, so she had guys come in and watch Becky while she was naked, and all kinds of just crazy stuff ensue. They would give the phone to the supposed police officer, and the police officer would tell those people to do certain things to Becky as well, and it's just really psychologically disturbing. And I think all the actors did a great job. It's very believable. 80% of this film takes place in a confined space in the back room of this fast food restaurant, so it's feels really confined. And the way it was shot, it really makes you feel like you're in the room with all this happening and watching it, and it just really kind of messes with you because you just want to stop and you want to get in there and be like, what the heck are you guys doing? And the way it was shot just really works well for it. You get that really intense kind of claustrophobic feel in that room, and seeing all the things happen is really kind of gritty and just crazy. And you kind of forget that it's happening in this really enclosed space because you get really engulfed in the storyline, and there's no parts where you're bored at all. It really engulfs you, and the score, it really adds to the dramatic effect. The score just suits this movie perfectly, and I like how they showed scenes from people out eating in the front of the fast food restaurant, acting like nothing's going on because they don't know what's happening in the back room, and everybody's kind of oblivious to what's going on in the back. There's people working at the register, handing out food, people going through the drive-through, people just eating casually like they normally would on a Friday night at a fast food restaurant. And it's just crazy to think all that normalcy is happening, and in the back room all that craziness is happening. So basically it's a prank call that turns into a just crazy sexual assault and sexual humiliation, essentially. It has a very surprisingly thrilling pace as well, and again, I just keep thinking of all the different things that are like huge red flags. The police officer, supposed police officer, is asking him, what size nipples does she have? All these kinds of things that are just, come on, really? You would really think that a police officer would ask you those kind of questions? It's just the common sense that's really lacking here. And then at the end of the movie, that just really shocked me as well. They say this happened over 70 times in 30 different U.S. states, and it's, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened so many times. This girl's life will be changed forever. She'll be scarred by these twisted events that happened because of this one crazy sociopath who, just thought this was a fun game to play. And in the movie, you see something in the very beginning that kind of, links together as well with this guy. It's just wild to think that there's so many ignorant people that can be so easily, manipulated, that are out there like this, that are in another position of authority within these restaurants as well, these chain restaurants, these fast food restaurants. And it wasn't just her life that's going to be ruined. It was also the fiance, the guy, Van, his life was ruined. The restaurant manager, Sandra, her life was ruined. So many people were affected by this. And if it wasn't for Harold, the one guy who had common sense, who knows how far this would have gone, and who knows how long this would have lasted as well. And Becky's not only stripped physically from her clothes, but she's also stripped mentally and psychologically as well from the sexual abuse and humiliation at the hands of these other people. And essentially those people's humanity is stripped away as well. And there's some brief nudity in the film, but I do think it does a great job of conveying what's going on without being overly disturbing or overly graphic, which I think really works well for this film. It adds a little bit of dimension to it, makes your mind kind of think of what's going on, kind of the viewer's imagination kind of runs wild with it. And this is one I highly recommend checking out if you're into psychologically disturbing movies. It really shows the dark side of humanity with the guy pretending to be the police officer in the prank call. It also shows the ignorance as well and the lack of common sense out there. And this was just really shocking and appalling. And this isn't going to be for everybody because it is very psychologically disturbing. And it really surprised me because, when I read what this movie was about and I saw the trailer for it, I was like, how are they going to make this into a movie? It just doesn't seem like there's a lot there, but it really worked well. Again, the actors did a great job and the dramatic score really worked perfectly for this movie. It really added a lot to it. I was just really shocked by the actions of, these different people, Sandra, Van, everybody else that was just letting this happen, essentially all the other workers too that knew about it. And I was just really appalled by it, that they could be so gullible and could be tricked into doing these things, doing these despicable things just because somebody says they're a police officer. And again, I'm glad that Becky ended up suing the restaurant franchise because they were at fault for hiring these people who just don't have any common sense, and they're just really easily manipulated and ignorant when it comes down to it because there were so many red flags here. It was just absurd that this could happen, and apparently, like I said before, it happened over 70 times in 30 different U.S. states, so that just blows my mind. And this movie really worked well. It got my emotions going. My heart was racing. I was disgusted, shocked, just appalled, and just really kind of blown away by this movie. And I really felt bad for Becky. As a viewer, you have to, and you're just really shocked by all the actions that are going on, and it really just draws you in. I thought this was a very powerful and moving movie. And I would definitely recommend checking it out. But again, it might not be for everybody because some of the actions that happen is very, like I said before, very psychologically disturbing. And I would give Compliance a 9 out of 10. It was very shocking and very well done. I would highly recommend it if you're into psychologically disturbing movies. And if you've seen Compliance, definitely let me know what you think of it. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care.